that it is a confused process, which the good news is that it's only got to do with a pause. Bad news is that obviously this process and these conclusions were not vetted. There's so many questions that, for example, it didn't filter down to our customs people, who it can come in, who can't. Is a green card holder, as was originally interpreted, who's legally in this country, can that person be barred from coming into the country? I talked with General Petraeus last night. He's very concerned about the special visas for those interpreters whose lives are literally in danger as we speak, that they would not be allowed to come into our country. What about the Iraqi pilots that are training right now in Tucson, Arizona, learning to fly the F-16, and there will be more coming in? So there's so much confusion out there, and published reports are that neither the Department of Homeland Security or the Justice Department or others were consulted about this before this decision was made. Finally, lumping Iraq with Iran, right now we have several thousand Americans who are fighting in Iraq against ISIS alongside Iraqi military men and women. The Battle of Mosul has taken an enormous toll on the Iraqi military. Is Iraq the same as Iran is? Of course not. So it's been a very confusing process. I'm glad that it's a pause, but for us we've got to understand the ramifications of this kind of action.
Let me ask you about the message. This is the first big signal in what America First means. How do you think the rest of the world is a sign of what Donald Trump wants to do with his presidency?
Well, I think you saw the reaction of the Prime Minister of England, who just had a very successful visit here, and the European nations. That's another thing that should have been done, of course, is to alert our friends and allies what we were doing, because people are leaving from these various places, particularly in Europe. So I think the effect will probably